call this meeting of the Upshur County Commission to order. We will begin with a moment of solemn meditation and prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Jackie, would you like to read the minutes from last week's commission meeting?
Good morning.
Good morning, Jackie.
County Commission of Upshur County, West Virginia held their regular meeting at the Courthouse Annex on Thursday, June 5, 2014 at 9 a.m. J.C. Rafferty called the meeting to order. There were present J.C. Rafferty, Commissioner, Donnie Tenney, Commissioner, Troy Brady, Commissioner, Megan Pomeroy, County Administrator, Carrie Wallace, Assistant County Administrator, and Jacqueline Dinklocker, Secretary. The meeting began with a moment of silent meditation and prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. All motions passed unanimously unless otherwise stated. After reading of the minutes on motion by Troy Brady, seconded by Donnie Tenney, the Commission approved the regular meeting minutes of May 29, 2014 as submitted. Carrie Wallace provided a review of bids for computer upgrades for the James W. Curry Library. After discussion, J.C. Rafferty advised communication with the old computer shop representative, Marshall Tenney, to clarify specifications and request pricing for new computer and installation. The item will be placed on next week's agenda for action. After discussion on motion by Troy Brady, seconded by Donnie Tenney, the Commission approved the resignation of Rosalind Freeman as part-time librarian at the James W. Curry Library effective May 15, 2014. J.C. Rafferty advised that agenda item number 3 is now ready for action and will be placed on next week's agenda. Carrie Wallace provided a review of the advertisement for the position of part-time deputy county clerk. Ms. Wallace advised that the posting should include the number of hours required. After discussion on motion by Donnie Tenney, seconded by Troy Brady, the Commission approved the advertisement pending that addition. After discussion on motion by Donnie Tenney, seconded by Troy Brady, the Commission approved the employment of Michael Thomas Burgess as full-time deputy assessor at the rate of $11 per hour. The position is paid from the assessor's valuation fund, but through the Upshur County Payroll Department. After discussion on motion by Troy Brady, seconded by Donnie Tenney, the Commission approved the reappointment of Steve Butler as member of the Upshur County Farmland Protection Board, effective July 1, 2013 through June 30, 2015. After discussion on motion by Donnie Tenney, seconded by Troy Brady, the Commission approved the request from the Upshur County Republican Executive Committee to use the Courthouse Annex on June 19, 2014 for a West Virginia Day celebration from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., pending verification of insurance requirements. After discussion on motion by Donnie Tenney, seconded by Troy Brady, the Commission approved the Commission to sign and send follow-up correspondence to property owners listed, directing them to correct any and all unsafe, unsanitary conditions, and to bring the property into compliance with safe structures and sites ordinance by June 20, 2014. Philip Lance, case number 050913-07. John Simons and Rita Simons, case 051211-01. Trent Davison and Travis Davidson, case 050913-04. Danny Peter and Shirley Peter, case 041212-01. After discussion on motion by Troy Brady, seconded by Donnie Tenney, the Commission approved the return of case number 02141301 back to the Safe Structures and Sites Advisory Board due to new ownership of the property. Carrie Wallace provided a review of Safe Structures and Sites case number 011113-01, Larry Coger. The advisory board previously sent numerous notices of noncompliance to Mr. Koger prior to turning the case over to the Commission. The Commission then sent additional notices. All notices have been unclaimed. After discussion on motion by Troy Grady, seconded by Donnie Tenney, the Commission approved the Sheriff's Department process server to hand-deliver correspondence to Mr. Koger requesting compliance with the Safe Structures and Sites Ordinance by June 20, 2014. J.C. Rafferty reviewed the following for your information items. Number 1, correspondence from Stephen Fisher, West Virginia Housing Development Fund, concerning low-income housing tax credit program, notification of local jurisdiction. 2, correspondence from Susan K. Foster, West Virginia Development Office, concerning the 2014 Small Cities Block Grant application. 3, correspondence from Stephen Canterbury, Administrative Director, Supreme Court of Appeals, Court Security Board, concerning approval of Court Security Grant Fund in the amount of $7,811 for Family Resource Network, June 2014 calendar. 5, agendas and/or notices of meetings as listed. 6, meeting minutes and/or financial reports as listed. 7, meetings as listed. 8, appointments needed or upcoming as listed. Jerry Kimball, West Virginia Classic Wheels Car Club member, announced the Blast from the Past event, which will be held on July 25 and 26, and provided a review of associated activities and events. Proceeds will benefit several charitable causes, including car seats for infants. The Commission approved all invoices for payment. The Commission approved all vacation orders. The Commission approved the following settlements as listed. The Commission approved the following exonerations and/or refunds as listed. The Commission approved the following requests for time out of office for Commission employees as listed. The Commission recessed at 10:30 a.m. The Commission reconvened at 11:15 a.m. Bob Orndorff, Dominion Transmission Incorporated representative, appeared before the Commission and provided a review/status report on the Southeast Reliability Project, a proposal for a gas transmission pipeline which will be routed through Upshur County. Mr. Orndorff advised that Dominion has been contacted by Duke Energy, a North Carolina company, about a proposed pipeline to convey natural gas from Lewis or Harrison County to North Carolina. Dominion will be conducting surveys and environmental studies in order to determine the best route for the pipeline. The study and development of the project is expected to extend over a 3 to 5 year period and could have major economic impact on Upshur County. With no further business, on motion by Donnie Tenney, second by Troy Grady, the Commission meeting adjourned at 11:30 a.m.
Thank you, Jackie. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes as read? If not, I would request a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved. Second.
As our, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Okay, we have a first appointment today at 9:15. We have about 5 minutes. We'll move on the items for discussion or approval. The first item is a request for support correspondence from the Monongalia County Commission regarding petition to oppose the rate increase requested by Monongalia Power Company. Megan, would you like to comment on that?
Sure. Our office was contacted yesterday by First Energy, and they asked that you hold off on making any sort of decision on this until more information is available. They said that the PSC won't make a decision until approximately a year from now, I believe. They are planning on having public meetings throughout the service area to talk to the public and let them know what their plans are. And I believe they said they will have a comment period of about 270 days for the public to talk to them about their concerns with the project. So it seems like they feel like it may be a little bit premature to make some sort of decision on this.
I don't know if we have to approve that with this information, correct?
Yeah, we're not going to take action.
Yeah, there's nothing.
I think that's sufficient amount of time.
Next, we have correspondence to the Randolph County Commission regarding the disputed Carter Roag Coal Company personal property tax assessment. Specifically, that is a letter prepared for the Commission for signature by the Commissioners and Jacob Rieger, prosecuting attorney to the Randolph County Commission, for purpose of requesting a correction to an erroneous assessment for tax year 2013 of certain personal property owned by Carter Roag and located on July 2nd, 2012 in Upshur County, West Virginia. Although this property was located in Upshur County on July 1st, 2012, it was erroneously reported on the return as being located in Randolph County. Subsequently, in filing the original return, the owner of the property, Carter Roag, became aware of the error in the original 2013 tax return, and on August 27th, 2013, executed and filed an amended return with the State Tax Commissioner that correctly identified certain personal property as being located within Upshur County and not located in Randolph County. The State Tax Department was in receipt of this amendment as of September 10, 2011. According to Carter Roag, this amended return was presented to the Randolph County Commission at its meeting on December 5, 2013, with a request for exoneration of personal property. At that time, the Randolph Commission denied Carter Roag's request for correction of that erroneous 2013 assessment. Therefore, Carter Roag has continued to pay taxes in Randolph County on property located within Upshur County. The purpose of this letter asks that the Randolph County Commission reconsider denial of Carter Roag's request for exoneration. There is copious evidence that this property is and has been located in Upshur County, and the only reason it was ever reported in Randolph County was due to a clerical error on the part of Carter Roag. Is there discussion on this prior to my request for approval? If not, I would request a motion to approve the signatures that the Commission assigned this and provided to Prosecuting Attorney Rieger for his signature.
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we need approval and signature of correspondence to Division of Highways regarding Princeton Road. We received, as the Commission received, a telephone contact from residents on the Princeton Road extended, the gravel portion of Princeton Road, advising us that the road was in deteriorating condition and requested that we intercede on their behalf with the State Highway, Department of Highways, I should say, for some attention to that road. The letter requests that, which is addressed to Robert Andrew, Division of Highways in Buchanan, requests that Division of Highways take care of that road, go out there and assess the issues on that road, and that they attend to them. Again, we can request it. We have no authority to order them to do the same, but we are requesting that they consider that. We have examined it. The Commission has personally examined the road and found it to be in the description described by the complainants. So I would request that we have a motion to approve the sending of that letter to the Division of Highways.
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have an item regarding a computer equipment upgrade for James W. Curry Library that was carried over from last week, I believe. And Ms. Wallace, you have comment or information concerning those?
Correct. The Commission had requested that we contact the UO Computer Shop and give them a chance to comply with the exact specs of the other two companies, and they cannot sell the exact same computer that the other companies are offering. However, they could build one themselves that would be similar to the other two. Now, with the 3 quotes that we have received, MicroLogic is the least expensive at $2,501.98 for their replacement of the 3 computers, and that does include Windows 7 on their laptop as well. So I would recommend, as well as Judith, the librarian there, I would recommend that we accept MicroLogic's estimate and go forward with the project.
Is there any discussion by the commissioners?
That's it. If it's equal and fair and have the low bidder, and that's what we're going to do. I would move that we approve the request.
Is there a second?
Second.
All opposed, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Carrie. Next, we have appointment of Upshur County Public Library Board of Trustees member, I'm sorry, well, I'll wait for this. Lee Dixon to a 5-year term beginning July 1 through June 20, 2019. There's a letter from Mr. Dixon requesting reappointment, advising that other members of the library board request his appointment. I've known Mr. Dixon. He has been active in the library, Friends of the Library Association, others for 20 years or more. So I would also endorse that appointment. Is there a motion to appoint Mr. Dixon to that, or to extend his appointment to that position?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, 9:15, we have Barbara Gordon, a process server, who wishes to discuss access to the E911 mapping. If you identify yourself for the purpose of the audience and viewing audience.
My name is Barbara Gordon. I'm a resident of Upshur County. I do process serving in Upshur, Randolph, surrounding counties. I had called and talked to your office about access to the web mapping online program, and they said there was only certain entities allowed to have that access. Since it is a public record that anyone can have access to the web mapping 911 new addresses, I'm requesting that that be open to the public, or at least be able to get access to that. There's a lot of times that I'm out on a serve and it's after courthouse hours and I can't get access to the 911 mapping and addressing system. So that's basically my request, is that I'd like it to be open to the public like other counties do have that. They don't have a login online. They just have it where you can go on, log on, and you can see the 911 new addresses. Upshur County has a log on, you have to have access to that, so I have no way of getting that. And even if it's during the day, if I'm out on a serve, I don't want to have to run to the courthouse to look up an address. It's just a waste of time and money.
Any comments or discussion by the commissioners? I would recommend we,
I think there needs to be.
well, take this under advisement, as well. Of course, you're here. I mean, I would take it under advisement because there's some administrative issues we have to address in terms of accessibility, in terms of what's the liability issues. Terry Jo, would you have any comments relative to sure that addressing coordinator?
Sure. I think the initial call came into me whenever she had first made the contact, and at that time I had advised her, that we do have it available, but it's only open to other governmental agencies that have access to it, like the DNR, the state police, City of Buchanan. It's other governmental agencies that have it. And, I 100% agree with what Ms. Gordon said. Everything that's on there is public record. There isn't anything on there that's, that wouldn't be. Now, some people might have a problem with the fact that their structure pictures, like their frontal picture of their structure is online and can be viewed. But again, you can drive by their house and look at it too. So there isn't anything on there that is not public. The reason that it was originally set up as such is because there was other elected officials in Upshur County that was sharing their information, and they did not want that to be on the internet, viable for anybody to be able to see. And so the agreement with the commission at the time and that elected official was that, we would only make it open to other governmental agencies. So that's the reason for it, is because, that's the way it was set up originally.
Well, again, we should take it under, my recommendation would be that we take it under advisement, because there's a number of issues we need to address in terms of liability, security, things of that nature, and the possibility of fees attached to it, because this would be similar, in my opinion, be very similar to a freedom of information request. We have information, we have money and time invested in this, taxpayer money invested in it. I understand taxpayers may have the right to it, but again, the same thing on a freedom of information request.
Under freedom of information request, am I allowed to request someone else's information? I mean, is that all public record?
You can,
Or is it
yes,
forbidding?
yes.
Because when the fees come in, like I said, Harrison Taylor has it online with no fee structure, no log on, and it's totally public, so.
It may be that's the way that we come down on it, but we need to study it and determine what policies
So
to follow.
the information to obtain that information now, how do you do it?
Well, to obtain the information, a lot of times just like your deputies, the processor, a lot of times you have a good address and it's not a big issue. If the address has changed due to the 911 mapping, then I have to either come to the courthouse or call, or try to find someone, or just call the, area, the person I'm trying to serve, which isn't really good practice. Just try to find it any way I can. I mean, GPS don't pick up a lot of new 911 mapping. I mean, it's just a big issue. It's a big problem. So I have a hard time doing it. I do sometimes find it, but it's through a lot of work to do that. Like I said, when I was in Harrison County, I pull it up, I find the area. But I mean, and the thing is with the web mapping, I don't have to come home to an office to get that. I can do it on my laptop while I'm out serving. I can do it on my phone. I can access that right there and find that information. So right now, I'm just doing it in Upshur County and Randolph and different places, just however I can find that address. Whether it's trying to go through the post office, which sometimes they'll help you, sometimes they won't. Barber County, sometimes their 911 office will give you the area that it's in. They won't tell you exactly where the house is, because that's another one of the security things, but they'll tell you where the street is or where the address is. So there's different ways you can find it.
Well, for us, the way when we initially set that addressing and mapping portal up, the way it worked was, at the time, we only had the telephone information that we could attach to that information. So, I mean, we have no way of actually, you have to know about where the structure is located in order to look up that physical address. Now, once you know the physical address, obviously you know right where it is. If it's 1971 Laurel Run Road, you know it's 1.9 tenths of a mile out Laurel Run and it's on the left. But there's no match of like the old address to the new address or anything like that. And the information that is on there that is available was based on telephone information from 2009. So it's already, significantly outdated. So, I mean, I think it would help. I think it helps anybody who is looking for it. But I agree with JC. I mean, there's a lot of avenues. The reason that we did it the way we did, there's a lot of avenues I think that we need to explore and definitely speak with the elected officials to make sure that they have no issues with it as well. But you definitely, when we look up an address here, we have to have driving directions. That's the only way we would know how to look it
And a
up.
lot of times I do.
So, yeah.
If I get in that area and the address has changed, then the way it's laid out, some of the streets in different counties go different ways. I mean,
Right.
so sometimes you get in an area, so even with Harrison County, there's no old address connected to the new address. You still have to know the area, which I can get in the area, and sometimes you just can't find where that street has gone, how they've taken it, because the way they've named it's been a little different. So it's just a little hard. So I think it would help. And if there is information on there that shouldn't be, then, I mean, to me, if it's a public record, it should be open to the public. And there shouldn't be something on there that's not public record. That should be a whole nother system. It shouldn't be on something that is considered public record.
Go to the fire department, they'll help you.
They do sometimes, and we do go to fire departments. I mean, we are very creative. We're very creative with how we find them sometimes. But sometimes it's just a little easier if we had that access right on my phone and I could pull up that mapping page and find it. I mean, I had a trailer court in Harrison County, and I knew the area, but I just couldn't get in the right place. So I pulled up the mapping website, and I pulled in the area, and I could find the exact location of that address.
Well, we can get with and was the main concern, there were some elected officials that were concerned about the information.
Well, that's the reason that we have it set up right now, that it's a username and password, because we actually keep track on a monthly basis of who all access that web hosting site. Because it attaches to that IP address, and then once that username and password enters it in, we know whether they've searched it from, a county computer based on the IP or maybe a personal computer. And we can tell how long they've been on the site and things like that. So, if it's open to the public, we're not going to have that luxury of knowing who's accessing our system and things like that. So, I just think that there's some stuff that, as a whole, we should probably sit down and talk about and explore, what we would want to do. I mean, maybe we could create something completely different. I don't know if we want to do that would be public record.
And I don't have a problem with a log on. If I get a log on, I mean, that's, to me, my issue. But to me, overall, if I'm addressing it, I'd like to address it for the public. But I don't have a problem giving you log on my information, who I am, what I'm doing, and logging in. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I thought I'd bring it up either way. It is public record, so anybody should have it. But if the only way I can get it is to sign up for it and do it, I'm fine with that. Because that'll help me out in the long run.
Well, we certainly can have a discussion on that and see if we can resolve all the concerns, and if not, see what the alternatives are.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank
Shirley.
you.
Thank you. Our next appointment, 5 minutes, Mr. Kaufman, Sheriff, regarding on the tax list. So we'll continue with our items for discussion. We next have item number 6, appointment of Upshur County Development Authority members, 6 members for a term from July 1, 2014 through June 30, 2017. And those individuals for consideration are Wanda Bailey, Sue Johnson Philippi, Scott Williams, Dennis Alexander, Connie Tenney, and Steve Holland. Those have been requested by the Upshur County Development Authority for approval. Any discussion? If not,
Move to approve.
move to approve. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 7 on the item on the agenda would be employment of Parks and Recreation employee Kylie Cosner, $7.25 per hour as of June 15, 2014. That is a request from Hartsel Cool.
Move to approve.
Second.
All opposed, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Continuing over, we have correspondence from West Virginia State Auditor Glenn Gaynor III, approval of salary increase for Upshur County elected officials. By way of background, excuse me, by way of background, we have a letter from Glenn B. Gaynor III, State Auditor, addressed to the Upshur County Commission, thanking us for completing and submitting the consideration of increased salaries for county officials form. As required by Senate Bill number 1005, our office has completed an analysis of the fiscal condition of your county, and accordingly, after a detailed review of the current financial condition of your county, we can certify that there is sufficient revenue to support the payment of the salary increases to your elected officials. Continuing, this letter advises that individual elected officials desiring to receive the increased salary shall have prior to that date of filing the office of the clerk of the county commission his or her written request for the salary increase. And those elected officials, if any, who fail to file the written request as required by this paragraph shall not receive their salary increase and until the person vacates, the office won't receive that increase until the official vacates the office or his or her term expires. This format information must be submitted to them along with a budget revision prior to July 31st of this year, and for the county commission to incorporate any budget adjustments. Now, we have gone on record in previous times, previous meetings, that we, the county commission of Upshur County, were opposed to this pay increase of elected officials. Historically, going back several months now, over 70% of the West Virginia County Commissions opposed the pay increases for elected officials in this state, citing the economic environment that we were living under, were existing under, and currently exist under. That was a position that was adopted by the County Commission Association of West Virginia as well. Last year, this fiscal year, we saw a decrease in Upshur County of over $400,000. As a result of that decrease, we had to make adjustments to our budget, as most families would do if faced with such a reduction. And we have cut or reduced budgeting and providing funding for a number of quality of life issues which we've supported in the past. In my opinion, that is my opinion, I'm not speaking for the other two commissioners, but in my opinion, the state auditor, in approving Upshur County and finding that we are qualified to do so, is making a decision counter to that instructions that we received at our county commission training and subsequently receive annually at our annual training. This instruction from the county commissioners has been that we are not and should not utilize severance funds, carryover, or rainy day funding for purpose of providing funding for fixed responsibilities, such as salaries, which occur routinely every year. As these funds are not stable and fluctuate each year based on, for example, the amount of coal or gas extracted, and that these funds change depending on circumstances. We are currently in a low ebb time where our severance funds and other income have been reduced, as again, $400,000 this fiscal year. So we've taken steps to remedy that. We will be able to afford paying the elected officials as directed by the auditor from funding which would be normally maintained in our rainy day fund. So, having said that, is there approval denied required on that, or we just?
I think that.
That's the fait accompli.
Right,
It's already done.
the auditor, and there were 15 counties that were not certified to give, to be in a position to give raises. And next, let's see, a week from this, not this weekend, but next weekend will be the County Commission Board of Directors meeting in Wheeling, and that's, this will be a point of discussion at that meeting is whether the auditor has the authority to override the constitutionally mandated budget authority of the county commission. Now, I'm not sure if there are any other counties besides Upshur that stated they didn't feel that they would be certified, that the auditor actually overrode that. I don't know if there's any other counties that happened to other than Upshur. But I do know that in the two meetings I went to with the auditor, one with that was put on the auditor's office, and the second one, the auditor was there, and he stated that if there was any county that was in arrears on the regional jail bill, they would not be certified. And we do have one county, I forget how many, there were 6, I believe, that are in arrears on their regional jail bill, and there was one county that did get certified. So there's some kind of discrepancy there in some of what they said in the meetings and what they actually did. So that will be a point of discussion. The main concern of the County Commission Association, and all the county commissions, is the state actually usurping authority over the counties and taking away the constitutional authority that the county commission has, which is pertaining to budgetary issues. So I think that's going to be a point of discussion at our county commission board meeting and kind of down the road. So it'll be interesting to see how those discussions develop. But yeah, I think at this point, basically, they've said we certify, and there's not much we can do but to make the budget changes and do what the auditor said that we're able to do. I don't know if Megan's got anything.
Well, I think it would be unfair not to say that the county officials, elected officials, have not had a pay raise in 8 years. Have not had a pay raise in 8 years. And
Well, and I don't think anybody's denying that because of that fact, that it's been 8 years since elected officials have received a raise, and that was well stated in the county commission's position on the issue is that we believe that the elected officials should receive a raise. I mean, our employees over the years, for the most part, have received raises. It's been a year or two this year we didn't feel we could, but there's been several years that we've given raises. And so it wasn't the issue that at all that elected officials shouldn't receive raises as they go through their years of service. It was the issue last year, based on what the auditor originally said. I believe there were, how many counties were there? Were there 16 or 18 counties? If you had a reduction in revenue from the previous year, then you automatically didn't certify. That's the way it was before. If you had a reduction in revenue, that was the test. And last year, there were a number of counties that would not have certified for raises. This year, it was supposed to be the same criteria, but in the process of the bill coming about, there was the issue there of the auditor certifying it. And I know in the meeting that I went to with the auditor, he made a comment he would do everything he could to certify as many counties as possible. And they weren't supposed to look at full severance, they weren't supposed to look at carryover, which my understanding that we got calls from the auditor's office questioning both of those issues. But at this point in time, according to what the auditor believes the bill contained, is that the auditor is certified Upshur County to give pay raises. We don't have any choice but to give pay raises. So, like I say, Megan worked hard on this, putting it together, and I don't know if she has anything else. I mean, it's pretty well cut and dry at this point in time. So, anyway.
Okay, moving it's past 9:30, we have the sheriff and Sheila Adams, chief tax deputy, to provide us with the delinquent tax list for tax year 2013. Sheriff?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Girls. This morning, of course, I'm here with Sheila. She's a lady that has all the numbers, and she wants to report to the commission about our delinquent 2013 taxes and to discuss any issues and answer any questions that we possibly can for you. So I'm just going to turn it over to her.
Morning, Sheila.
Good morning.
Morning.
With the certification of the delinquent 2013 property taxes, this is for real and personal property taxes. The total amount of the delinquencies for the personal property is $328,554.74. You'll see on the list you have in front of you, it says 326, and if you add the bottom list, which is 1,600, that goes together to make the total of those delinquent personal properties. The bottom is a listing of supplementals that were created during the 2013 year that goes with that. The real estate delinquencies are $417,132.44 for a total of $745,687.18. These properties were assessed July 1 of 2012. They became payable on July 1 of 2013, July 15, 2013. And that's when we began the collections on these. Both houses became delinquent in April, and the tax lien sale on the real estate will be conducted this fall on November the 19th. The delinquencies for this year are actually up from last year by $161,000. One of the issues that I found when I ran the analysis on that, the real estate is up by 65, almost 66,000. So those, as you know, will go to sale if they're not paid, and the purchasers, they'll pick up those taxes. So those are basically almost 100%. The personal property taxes are about $95,000 higher this year. And in looking at that, one of the things that I found in just looking at what was delinquent this year versus last year, one of the tickets that is majorly contributing to that is the Carter Row Ag that's had the controversy on it. And that one's like $80,000. So that's a significant amount of that. I did do an unpaid ticket listing yesterday. It was $530,627.60. So we came down quite a bit since this initial list was run, and hope that that'll continue to come down.
What is the percentage that was not paid? Total was, I know we normally collect, I think in the past, we've had like 98, 97% compliance. with
I think we're
taxpayers.
about 97% right now.
So we're still within what we
Yeah, we're
normally
still
are.
pretty much the same percentage as we have in the past. Yes.
We've had some increases to offset the decreases, I guess would be the best way to say it.
Yes.
Thanks. Any questions? Any other?
Yeah, appreciate what you do.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, continuing then with, we have regional jail correspondence indicating that the bill for last month, this month, indicated is $47,140.25, which is down about $4,000 from the previous month. That was for May, so April was $51,048. So that appears to be on track with what we've had since the beginning of the year. February and March were both under 47,000, so hopefully that's the direction that it'll remain. Any comments or statements on that from the other commissioners?
The lower it goes, the better I like it.
Yeah. We have building permits for May 2014. New construction was total over $2 million, a little over $2 million, which is a good sign that construction continues within our county. We have animal control for dogs and for cats reports for April, May, and for the dogs, and May for the cats. Any comments on those? And then we have 911 communication center reports showing the total calls, the type of calls, variety of calls. We have, again, agendas and notices of meetings and meeting minutes. And then the scheduled meetings that are to appear during the coming month, and appointments needed or upcoming. Is there any other business before the commission? Other than paying the bills?
We do have a meeting at 9:45.
Okay, that's right. Board of Directors of the county committee. Here they come. 2 minutes to spare, 3 minutes to spare. We'll take a 3-minute recess. We will reconvene from recess, Upshur County Commission. Next presentation, we have a representative of the Board of Directors, Upshur County Pony League, who's requesting request for usage of county property for Pony League baseball field. Please approach the podium, identify yourself for the viewing public and media.
Good morning. My name is Ron Sandreth. That's spelled S-A-N-D-R-E-T-H. I'm actually here representing 2 organizations. One is I'm a coach on the Upshur County Pony League, and we have several board members here from Upshur County Pony League. And I'm also representing a travel baseball club, Blue Lightning Baseball Club, which is a travel baseball club for, at this point, 9 and 10-year-olds, but we'll be progressing up to 11, 12-year-olds as well. Our request today is to seek approval to secure and develop the property up by the high school down below the football practice field to develop a baseball field, a multi-use baseball field for Pony League Pony Division, which is the 13 and 14-year-old group of kids, which at this point I'll explain in some more detail, but there's really nowhere for those kids to play. And to also have an additional field in the county for the travel baseball program that we're trying to start and compete with some of the other programs around here who have the travel baseball teams. This calendar year, there was a group of 13 and 14-year-olds that had to go to Lewis County to play baseball. Had to travel daily for practice, had to travel all their games over to Lewis County because at this point in time up at the Tennerton Complex, there is no pony division size field for the 13 and 14-year-olds, which is longer baselines, longer pitching mound, longer fence than what's currently up at the Tennerton Complex. At the Tennerton Complex, they can accomplish the what used to be T-ball, I forget the name, Sheetland is now what it's called, the 5 and 6, the Pintos, which is the 7 and 8s, the Mustangs, which are the 9 and 10s, and there's one field for the Broncos, which is the 11th and 12th. So they're able to cover those from a standpoint of all the games being played during the week. Still no fields for practice because the games are, every night. But for the 13 and 14-year-old kids, there was nowhere to participate with the 80-foot bases. A couple guys took a bunch of kids over to Lewis County and participated in their program this year. For our travel team this year, we were able to work with the middle school and Coach Gregory, and he did allow us to play on the middle school field this year when that wasn't in use, so that was good. Unfortunately for us that are continuing to travel next year, our kids move up to the next age group, which is longer bases than what the middle school field allows for. So at this point in time for next year for our travel team, we also don't have a field to play on. The initial estimates are we're going to have to come up with about $40,000 to $50,000, depending upon how much dirt we would have to purchase to fill. There are some opportunities to maybe pull some dirt from down there with the slope. The Pony League, Upshur County Pony League organization is already committed to $10,000. We would have to go out and fundraise for the other $30,000 to $40,000. We have a few folks that we think would donate some money. I'm probably not in a position to state those names at this point, but we're confident we can come up with the money. We've got a lot of folks interested within the Pony organization, and then some of us within our travel baseball organization to come up with the money. Initially, we would want to build a multi-use field. You could peg the bases for the different distances. You could put your fence and your pitcher's mound at the farthest distance, and we do have a temporary mound that we use for the smaller kids, so we can make it a multifunctional field for the different age groups. Long-term plans would also be to develop an indoor batting cage, which again most facilities have at this point. Lewis County's built one over at their complex. Baseball is one of those sports that if you don't stay with it most of the year, don't fine-tune your skills, you tend to fall behind. So an indoor batting cage, but that would be after the field's built. Typically, the way these things work is once you build the field, start playing games, have your concessions, the money starts rolling in with the concessions. So that's kind of a quick summary. Did I hit on every topic, guys and gal?
The area that you're discussing is the amphitheater, the old amphitheater, that area.
Yes.
Yes, sir. That hasn't been used in years. I don't know that it ever was used, maybe once or twice.
I have talked to a few others in the community who said that they had developed some plans years ago, but for whatever reasons that they never pushed forward. But this group of folks that we got gathered here are determined to make some changes and get things done.
Any discussion from the other commissioners?
I think we just need to get the details worked out as far as an agreement and those type of things. My understanding, you have an agreement with education. Might be a good starting point to look at that and see.
I brought that up yesterday.
Okay.
To Carrie. It's the old original when they started doing construction at the Tennerton Field. There's a new one last year. That's the Little League. There's a new up-to-date last year when I switched to Pony League. I think they just basically switched the names. So I mean, that's what we've used with them. And we want to reiterate too, I think that we're not asking for any money from the county or any funds. We're not asking for upkeep from the county on the field and the area surrounding. So.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity. I mean, in 18 years I've been on the commission, we talked about different uses of that. And then when the Board of Education got in a situation where they needed to put some dirt somewhere, we entered an agreement with them. And so, that's made it to where it is now. And I think it's just a matter of working out an agreement that's, to get all the details worked out. I think it's a great thing. And one of the biggest reasons that nothing's happened over the years in that and some of the other areas is the money. It takes a lot of money to develop fields like that, and it takes a group of people, apparently like you all, that has the desire to develop and has the kids that you want to see excel and be able to do good, and that's a great combination. somebody started already.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there's ever been a consideration of using the wellness complex on the Brushy Fork property.
There has been, again, I don't know all the details on that complex, but my understanding is that you can't do much as far as filling or adjusting that land because of the floodplain out there. That area does flood, and we can't make a lot of alterations that would affect the armory. So to invest, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 out there, and then to have it flood, that's kind of why we've never gone that route.
Have you actually seen the flood map for that area though? There are actually opportunities in that area that's out of the floodplain. We had actually looked at putting the Babe Ruth field actually down into that area. There was a question on the field, and we were hoping that the armory would have helped with that, but they hadn't yet. But there is probably the opportunity on the other end of that property that could actually be used. It's not in the flood zone. Just mentioning that.
I think you have a great idea. I think we just need to get a plan and see if we can't make it happen. Because there's a vacant piece of property up there that could be used to help the youth and the baseball. I'm all for it.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies, for appearing. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask Jerry Kimball. I think Jerry Kimball has something you'd like to discuss.
Yes, I do. Good morning. My name's Jerry Kimball. I'm with the West Virginia Classic Wheels Car Club. And this coming July the 25th, 26th, we're having a block party here on Main Street and down in Jawbone Park. This is our poster that we are putting up in a lot of the businesses here in town. We are in a process of going around asking for donations to help us put this party on. All proceeds above what it takes to pull this block party off will go to charities. And one of our main charities is buying baby seats for newborns for parents that cannot afford them. And the little nuns up at the hospital won't allow the youngsters to leave unless they have a baby seat to ride in. But we also help out in other ways. People's homes burn, we help them out. If children need a ride to Morgantown or Pittsburgh for treatment or anything like that, we will assist the parents in any way that we can, monetarily, and we just continue on. I mean, that's where our money goes to. It's all pretty well local. We do help if there's somebody in Lewis County, Randolph County, Harrison County, Webster County, Braxton, any of the surrounding counties, we will help them out too, because they help us. And but that's what this is all about. And it will go on Friday evening from 6 to 11, and then on Saturday afternoon from 4 o'clock until 11 o'clock. We will have great music by Ryan Kane and the Ables. That's, well, I want to call it rock and roll music, or some people call it rockabilly. But anyhow, also on Saturday morning, we're having a pancake feed at CJ Maggie's. It's $5 for breakfast. So we'd like to see everybody come out.
Thank you, Jerry.
Enjoy it.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you all.
Any comments by the commissioners or administrators? If not, we'll pay some bills.